Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into something that is literally everywhere right now, and it's fundamentally shaking up the way we learn, study, and work. I'm talking, of course, about artificial intelligence. Because this tech exploded onto the scene so incredibly fast, the line between using a super helpful digital tool and, well, outright cheating has gotten really blurry. It's so easy to feel overwhelmed, right? Like what actually counts as fair use in a classroom or at work? So to clear all of that up, we are going to unpack this fantastic resource, the principles of ethical AI integration in education. Think of this explainer as your personal roadmap through this massive gray area. We're going to distill all this down so you can master AI as your ultimate co-pilot. Because the real goal here, it's figuring out how to use these wild digital tools while making absolutely sure you remain firmly, confidently, and ethically in the pilot's seat.
So let's jump right into it. I'm going to throw a quick true or false question your way, straight from our foundational guide. True or false? AI is always right. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds ridiculously simple, doesn't it? But pause for a second and think about our actual habits these days. Think about how often you type a question into a prompt box, hit enter, and just instinctively accept whatever pops out as the gospel truth. I mean, we all do it. The output looks perfect, it sounds super confident, and it generates in milliseconds, so our brains naturally just want to trust it. We end up treating the machine like it knows everything, and we totally bypass our own initial skepticism. So, ask yourself honestly, is it always right?
Yeah, false, obviously. Our source material warns us explicitly to beware of this myth of machine infallibility. We really have to shatter this illusion. You see, AI language models are basically just highly advanced prediction engines. They are literally built to sound plausible, not necessarily to be factually accurate. They hallucinate facts, they pull from biased data, and man, they can be so confidently incorrect. So relying blindly on automated outputs, that's a massive trap for your education. It's so tempting to just let the algorithm do the heavy lifting, but assuming the machine is always right strips away the most important thing you have, your own critical thinking. Treating AI like a flawless magic oracle is hands down the fastest way to short-circuit your genuine learning process.
Okay, so if we can't blindly trust these systems, what is the actual right way to use them? Well, the guide offers a really brilliant framework called ethical AI integration. Basically, this means using technology as a cognitive aid to maintain your personal agency and critical thinking, rather than just using it to bypass genuine academic effort. This is a total game changer. It transforms the tech from some mysterious, sketchy shortcut into a legitimate, practical tool for the classroom. It's kind of like using a graphing calculator in a high-level calculus class. The calculator handles all the tedious, boring arithmetic, which frees up your brain power, your cognitive load, so you can actually focus on solving the complex, higher-order calculus problem. A cognitive aid doesn't do the work for you. It supports your brain while you do the work. It makes sure your ability to make choices and direct your own learning stays completely intact.
Let's test this out with a real-world dilemma, just to see if you're actually thinking or just letting the machine fly on autopilot. Imagine you've got a super dense 40-page academic paper to read for a seminar tomorrow morning. Which of these approaches actually represents AI helping you think? Option A, you just copy a summary that the AI generated from the text. Or option B, you use AI to find themes within the text to help guide your own reading. I really want you to weigh these two. One of these represents you being actively involved in synthesizing information, and the other, well, it represents you completely checking out.
Right, so the crucial point here is visualizing this boundary. On one side, using AI for thematic analysis is a brilliant example of a cognitive aid. You're feeding the AI data, you're asking it to help spot patterns or isolate key arguments, but you are still the one doing the heavy analyzing. You're the one synthesizing those themes to draw your own conclusions. But on the flip side, copying a summary outright, that's just bypassing your genuine academic effort entirely. When you do that, you aren't learning, you aren't engaging, you're literally just moving text from a bot to your document, which completely robs you of the intellectual growth that the assignment was meant to foster in the first place. But you know, ethical AI integration isn't just about churning out essays or analyzing massive datasets. It's also just about how we manage our everyday lives. We spend so much time talking about AI in the context of writing and coding, but let's keep our interactive quiz journey moving with a quick short answer question. Think about the specific tech you use day to day. Name one digital tool you might already be using to keep your schedules, your notes, and your big projects totally organized and streamlined. So things like Notion or Todoist immediately come to mind, right? And this brilliantly illustrates how cultivating responsible digital habits means combining those organizational tools with your own critical thinking and personal agency. Because the reality is, software alone cannot manage your life. Sure, the app might organize your tasks cleanly or even use AI to suggest priority levels, but you have to provide the intellectual direction.
Without a human driver, these tools are basically just inert lines of code. They are truly only as responsible and effective as the habits of the person sitting at the keyboard.
Which brings us perfectly to the strict ethical boundaries our guide sets up around transparency. Let's say you use AI strictly as a cognitive aid. Maybe you just use it to brainstorm a few messy, preliminary ideas or organize a rough outline. Do you actually have to disclose that? Think about the core legacy rules of academic integrity and how they apply to this wild new digital frontier. True or false, you must always cite AI use.
The answer is undeniably 100% true. The guide introduces what it calls the transparency rule, which is a strict, mandatory requirement to attribute AI assistance in your work. And this matters deeply because transparency is what protects your academic integrity. It's what builds trust with your educators and your peers. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you only used AI to structure a single paragraph or just to spark a creative idea. If it helped you, you must attribute that assistance. And here's the thing, acknowledging where your help comes from doesn't diminish the quality of your work at all. If anything, it highlights your responsible digital habits. It proves that you actually understand how to ethically integrate modern tech into your workflow.
All right, we have arrived at our final quiz question. And while it might seem incredibly simple, this gets to the absolute core of your intellectual journey. Ultimately, all of these principles, the cognitive aids, the responsible habits, the mandatory transparency, they all boil down to this. Who is the boss of your learning? Option A, AI, or option B, you. Seriously, think about the dynamics of the relationship we've been talking about. Who is the actual driving force behind this whole operation?
The answer is B, you. The guide states this so clearly, and it's a powerful reminder. The learner remains the primary authority over their own intellectual journey. No matter how advanced this technology gets, no matter how fast it generates a response, the human brain is still the ultimate boss. It's the engine. AI doesn't possess genuine curiosity. It doesn't have passion or context or unique lived perspective to draw from, but you do. The technology is just an instrument designed to serve your intellect. It is never meant to replace your fundamental authority.
You are the boss. I really want to hammer this climax home. Your personal agency is literally the most valuable asset you have in your education. You are the primary authority, not the algorithm, not the predictive text, not the software suite. When you truly internalize that dynamic, artificial intelligence stops being this academic crutch that you lean on out of panic or convenience. Instead, it transforms into an incredibly empowering co-pilot that just amplifies what you're already naturally capable of.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative question to really chew on. How will you ensure your personal agency remains in control the next time you open an AI prompt box? Are you going to clearly define exactly what you need it to analyze while keeping the final say? Or are you going to default to letting the machine do the thinking for you? The choice is entirely yours. Keep these ethical principles in mind, maintain your transparency, and always, always remember who the primary authority is. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and we will see you next time.